everybody, welcome. We are talking about UFOs, and we are really excited to have Betsy and Drew with us. And so welcome everybody. Yay. Hi. So Betsy, if you'd like to start first and just tell us a bit about yourself.
Excuse me. I'm Betsy Rosum, and I am a energy healer, and I primarily help women heal from trauma, loss, and grief so that they can thrive in their lives and not just survive. I'm certified in EFT. I'm a Reiki 2 practitioner. I'm certified in advanced Psych-K and Theta healing. And I have a master's in mental health, and I'm licensed as a minister, so it's more spiritual counseling. My experience, it's so funny when we talk about UFOs. Our society has decided for us what they consist of or what they don't consist of. And I have a belief that maybe even angels are UFOs. And I was probably really young when I had those experiences, my first experiences. And then probably after the age of 5 up until I was 30 something, I had nothing, because I was, it was educated out of me, I guess. But I always had a spiritual connection. And the first angel visitation, and I call it a UFO because our society doesn't recognize it when they show up. I had an angel appear and I could see it. My oldest daughter was run over by a car, and she ended up being okay. But at the end of the day, I was calm all day, but at the end of the day, when she was okay, the fear of what if started showing up. And it was late in the evening. She was asleep. I was in the hospital room with her, and the door was shut. And right by the door, this lighted figure, probably about 4 feet tall, it just shaped like this, appeared. And I felt this peace, joy, and love that had never experienced before. And it said to me, we were under the car with her. She's going to be okay. And boom. And I didn't talk about it for years because it was like, I'm old enough that in those days, they would have put me in a hospital if I had said anything. And then I started hearing other people with similar experiences. And I was like, yeah, that was really real. That was really real. And then I remember, I was telling Nikki earlier, I'm an avid watcher of Ancient Aliens on the History Channel. Both my husband and I love it because archaeologists are starting to see that there's so much more than we have ever thought, and that there have been UFOs, people coming, extraterrestrials, whatever we want to call them, have been coming to this planet, have maybe even been on this planet even before we were. And they're starting to show some evidence. And I remember seeing my first in the sky experience. We were living in Port St. Lucie at the time, and there's not a lot of lights out there, so you can really see the stars. And there was this one star-like figure that it moved a little bit, and it was really bright. And I stood out in the backyard all by myself, and I connected with it. And I had tears running down my face, and I had this feeling of, we're here supporting you no matter what. And I just stood out in the yard with tears streaming down my face, with this feeling of joy and bliss that I had never experienced other than when I had the angel visitation. And it was pretty awesome. That's
wonderful. That's great. Well, we're just going to go on to Drew, and he's going to tell us a bit about him. And then I'm going to ask you both questions. Okay. So Drew, just tell us a bit about yourself and what's your sort of take on the UFOs and stuff.
Yeah, sure. I've had spiritual things going on in my life since the 1980s, when I used to think they were ghosts, and then it started to understand that they were just like, there is no end to life. In fact, I think there's more spiritual than there is physical, much, much more. The physical is just a small focus that we're in right now. But anyways, as far as the UFO stuff, I mean, I've had an incredible, crazy year that I'm trying to make videos now and get out to show, tell everybody what happened to me this year. But one of the crazy things is I was learning about the 10 different dimensities that we're really all a part of and that really make up this universe. And I had a lot of contact back in April with my 4D self and my 4D partner, and my 4D self integrated within me on July 18th. And so this is a strange thing that happened in September, because that could take weeks to talk about what I went through with him. He went out of me on October 25th, and that's another story. But there was one day I was watching a movie about, it was called, oh shoot, now I forget the name of it, but these people went to Mars. And I don't even know how I got on it. My girlfriend said, I don't get that channel. I'm like, I don't know how I'm on here. She's like, why are you watching this? I kind of was taken over by the 4D a little bit, which didn't usually happen. And I suddenly was watching this movie, and it was about 100 million years ago, aliens were on Mars, and they had an issue, and they had come from another place anyway. But a lot of them were dying because of the atmosphere, some of the changes, and some of them went to Earth as far as what I was receiving. And it was like the Zechariah Stitchin, the old Sumerian text that I love ancient aliens too, and I've read all that stuff before. And Edgar Cayce, I was a big fan of Edgar Cayce, by the way. But that the Sumerian texts were kind of correct. Some aliens, and maybe they shouldn't have, but they came down, played around with our DNA, combining with the life forms that were here at the time. So we're sort of all hybrids. I guess that was really true. And my 4D, knew all this and was really enjoying this movie. It was a strange experience. In August, another UFO thing happened, just like Betsy, I think, very much. And I have a lot of contact with spirits in my life, not UFOs. I've read all the things, and but it's been more spiritual with people that have quote unquote passed on than it has to do with UFOs. But in August, I came back to New York. I was in Philly during most of the pandemic, then came back to New York and had to deal with a lot of things. And I was upset about something that was going on with people. I was in the Hamptons, and I left the apartment or the hotel I was staying in, went out to a yard in the middle of the night and started meditating. And I do that anytime when I need to, I meditate. And there was all kinds of stars up in the sky. And I knew that some of those stars, like Betsy was saying, I'm not sure I saw them moving, but I knew that some of them weren't stars. I just knew it. Mm-hmm. And suddenly, I was in a distraught situation for a minute, and I could feel it was like my alien family is the best way I can describe it. I don't even know exactly what that means, but they were kind of saying to me, patience, patience, over and over, patience. I've been shown things since April, and they've all been happening now that for later in the year, and it's all been happening just like I saw. But it's harder, it's easier to see it in April and live through it is a different thing, because people are suffering. There's all kinds of things going on right now. And then also there's egos going on a lot, because the planets are going straight. So now everybody's like, let's go. But the position of power is not from ego, it's from on. Anyway, these alien beings.
Well, Rothis says that Stranded is the name of the movie, so that's quite exciting. So maybe we can go and listen to it. Yeah, absolutely.
Rohit is a friend of mine. Thank you, Rohit, for that. He came through. Right. Thank you.
Superb. That's great. Yeah. Okay. Well, let me just ask you both a couple of questions, and then you can just give me short answers if that's good for you guys. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, what some of our viewers have asked is things like, have you actually seen a ship, and if so, what color is it, or what form? Okay, so Betsy, have you seen one?
No, never saw a ship. No.
Okay, Drew, did you ever see a ship?
The only thing is, not literally, but I get feelings now a lot, especially this year, that all those stars aren't all stars. But I think that's what Betsy was having too. But other than that, not that I could make out an actual ship. No.
Okay. All right. So the next question is, so UFOs means unidentified flying objects. What is the unidentified flying object that you've seen, if you've seen them? So first, Betsy.
Well, the one that I shared about the star, definitely. Mm-hmm. And 4 years ago, my youngest daughter, was killed by a drunk driver, and I obviously went into some emotional struggles. And shortly after that, I started seeing these little tiny. They were about the size of the end of a pencil, orbs. They were either like a clear color or a golden color or like a fluorescent blue color, bluish purple. And they would like move around right in front of my face. And usually I could see them when the sun was out. I would see them when I'm driving, and I'm like, no, I don't need this distraction. And a lot of times when I was swimming in the pool, and I thought maybe it was, and I could see them when I had glasses on. And I thought maybe it was water droplets on my glasses, and I'd rub the water away. No, they're still there, but they're moving around, and they made me feel light and playful. And I remember the last time I was with Burge, and she did her shamanasta a connection, and I asked her what they were, and she basically affirmed that they were sprites, and they sprites make you happy. They're about happiness and joy. And it was like they knew I needed that at that time to lift my spirits up. Lately, I've been seeing less of them
Well, you
because
have to come over to our place. I think
I'm
you saw
happier.
my
I'm more joyful. So they're not here all the time, but they were. I mean, that was like almost everywhere I went. It was like, and I was like, are you? And of course, other people would say, oh, those are floaters. You need to go to the eye doctor. So the last time I had my eyes checked, there's no floaters. I knew, and I knew that. So that was those were the experience with they were flying, they were moving. So those are the two experiences, excuse me, that I've had as far as those things go.
Okay, Drew, what about you? Have you had any unidentified flying objects around the place?
Yeah, for all my life, mostly all of my stuff was from within and the knowing more than a physicalizations. I really didn't see a whole lot. But then this year, of course, everything changed. And then lately, I took a picture. I think you saw it, Nikki, with the, well, maybe not. I don't know. But the blue little, like a blue little thing on the ground. And I took the picture for a friend who's really struggling right now. And I was, the light came out. I've received a lot about 5D is about the light, and when the sun is kind of like part of that 5D experience. So that the sun, there was all clouds, and it came out from my friend, and I'm like, I have to tell you, you're going to be okay. And I took this picture, and on the grass in front of me was the little blue angel, because if you blow it up, you can see like a little head and almost like a gown or like a wings. Like it's interesting.
Yeah, well, you'll have to post it. Do you remember a couple of yesterday or the day before I posted those photos with those sort of, I mean, I thought that looked like a spaceship. Everybody else thought it looked like a fairy. So
no, I thought it looked like a blue angel, but if you blow it up, it looks like there's a little head. But yeah, it's hard to tell for sure. But
so you have to put yours on there.
Yeah, I could definitely see wings on the one that you posted, Nikki.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
so, but with Nikki, it's interesting that the video that you just had. I mean, I can't believe what was going on in that video, and the one that was flinging around in front of you, I thought looked a lot like my little being on the grass, but not. And I'm beginning to wonder if that being was moving around, and I just didn't notice that. I didn't even notice it in the picture. My friend said, "Oh, you sent me an angel with it too," like that, and I looked down. I was like, but. So that was my first that's it for me on that. Though I have a dear friend who's having a bladder cancer issue and in a lot of pain, and I've already seen that she's going to have an incredible miracle. And I don't know if it's going to be in the spirit, in the physical, or going to spirit and physicalizing for all of us later. But I've kind of seen it next year. So I'm not sure which one it is, but so maybe I'll see more coming around the bend. But that's it. That's that little angel. Probably that was like, well, it's beginning, right? And then I saw your video and I'm like, I want to know more about your video. I'm just like,
well, I'll tell you, my video doesn't actually, and for anybody who's listening to this in the replay or now, I've just posted a video. So I think it was December what day was it yesterday? December I can't remember. 7th.
Yesterday was the 8th.
Yes, they were there. Okay, so it was December
right.
the 8th. It's actually a festa here in Italy. But what was really cool about that video was that it didn't show how absolutely incredibly it was. I was with this guy called Kingsley, and we were doing the Christmas decorations, and we were looking out on the to the mountains, because I was taking some photos of these clouds coming over the mountains, and we've got a face in the mountain which we think is a sort of Native American Indian type face, and you can see it all year. Anyway, so I was, taking a photo of that. And as that happened, we were looking in my camera lens up the mountain. And literally, we saw, you see those flickering lights you see on the video itself? We were looking out, and those are actually reflections of the lights inside. But we were both looking at them, and they were absolutely still outside, and yet through the video they started all this flickering and stuff. And so we will go, oh my god, that's amazing, sort of thing. Anyway, I don't know if you noticed, but I saw Kingsley says, oh, pan back out. So I panned back out, and this blue thing came, and I don't know whether you saw it, but the blue thing actually, the camera was actually still. Okay, so sometimes, you know how you get a blue dot and sometimes it goes around the thing. This camera was totally still, and it elongated, and another blue sort of area came out. So that was really cool. And then this really bright light came and lit up the whole of the room. Now, if you listen to what we're talking about, we go, oh my God, you can hear my voice change, because literally we both, I mean, it was so bright on the video. It doesn't look bright at all, but it was really, really, really bright. And what happened was, we both had to close our eyes because it was so bright. And then it sort of came out, and then it disappeared again. And it wasn't bright anymore. I mean, obviously it might be a sunlight, it might be this and whatever, but it was so incredible because these lights kept appearing and then disappearing, and also the energy. When that light did come, there was massive, massive energy in the room. So, and even today, this morning, I don't know if you guys have seen, I did a live, and while I was on the live, and I've only just seen this, there was a whole load of flashes as I'm talking. Wow. I saw a really big one. I said, oh, look, there's a flash. But if you actually look at the whole video, you see flashes all the time. Now, if those are sort of clouds and things, because one of the shaman friends of mine was actually over here, and he was always drawn to the mountains. And he said, oh, there's a load of UFOs over there. And he saw various coming out of those mountains.
Is that Michael? Is that Michael? Yeah, he's still there, huh?
No, he's back in America, but he's coming back he's coming back this year coming, obviously in March and April, because the things that he does over there are fabulous. Because what happens is when you've got a place that's really got real energy, and you've got somebody who can really bring through the energy, you have the most incredible experiences. I mean, thanks to, as Betsy, you were there, I think, when I was actually, when I had my awakening. I had what's called a Satori awakening, where I was just blown open, and on one day. So I went from not even knowing what spirituality was to flying around the room and seeing all sorts of things, like different energy forms, different all sorts.
And it's really interesting because my husband Ray is he's an accountant, very not a right brain person, very left straight, and he has a gift of, I mean, when he was touching one of the other women that was going through something similar, he could hear everything that was going on in her head, in his head. It was so it kind of freaked him out a little bit, and he had a discovery too that he actually sees people's soul colors and where they're at, not yours, but the color of their souls. But I had a question. Do you think that because so many of us are being more awake, awakening up, we're wakening up and we're lighter and we're more open, that they feel more comfortable appearing? Or have they always been here appearing, and it's because we're waking up that we finally see them? Or is it a combination of both? What do you guys think?
I actually asked those questions. And I mean, the funny thing is, I was a physics major.
Ah.
I was also a minor in music theory and an actor, so I'm both sides of the coin, you know. But I mean, after I saw that blue thing, and I like Nick, I love Nikki's analytical way, because I went over to the grass and looked all through the grass and tried to find if that was a trick, you know, of light or something. But there was nothing in that field. So that definitely wasn't from any object on the ground. And also, I had an amazing feeling too. Like everything that happens like that, it's not like I see the sun and go, "Oh, it's 5D." I mean, there is an incredible, overwhelming sense of of beauty and ease, and everything's going to be okay. And when it pops out like that for my friend on the phone, I said, "You're going to be okay. It doesn't just happen, you know." And when I asked those questions, Betsy, and I meditated on it, and it came to me quickly that again, it's a five dimensity situation, which is a dimension density thing, and it's light. I mean, it's light, and we're attracting it. I mean, we're literally just the whole Earth. I was also told in March 27th, the virus was off the planet, because I had it myself, and when I went through a big experience, I'll talk another time on, but I was told it's not even, and we're going to know one day that this was not even from here exactly, this virus. And so the Earth is kind of like listening to us, because the Earth is a living being, and it's bringing in all of this. It's like it's always been there, is what I've been told. But and we could have seen it or whatever, but it's almost more like we're asking for it. We're calling it in. We want it. I mean, these changes are happening. Even the virus, which looks, everybody's saying 2020 is such a horrible year. I've seen that hundreds and thousands of years from now, people are going to look back and say, this was the turning point of humanity. This was where we're actually freeing our minds finally and not being the slaves anymore, but to our mind. And so it's been an amazing year, and we're calling it in. The Earth is hearing it. It's bringing it to us. It's coming out for us. And there's not a whole lot of us yet that are like us three, but it's getting bigger. You know, there's going to be more and more and more. And over the coming years, the rest of this decade, it's just going to build up from hundreds of thousands to millions to billions of people. But right now, it's just like 100 of thousands. That's it.
And then there's the tipping point, right?
Yeah, that's what we're at right now. I mean, yeah. That's it. We're here. I mean, it's
I got my goosebumps.
Yeah, the changes. That's what's interesting about all of this. It's already done. Like the change is already over. But now for the next 10 years is what I was told, there's going to be the shadows and the souls. And the shadows are taller than our souls right now, but it's not going to stay like that forever, because we have to just realize it's different now. It's changed, and just go with the change. It will be so much easier. But what does that even mean? I mean, that's tough for a lot. What I'm finding out now is I'll say that to people, and they're like, well, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I wish I could tell you more, like what to do. It's like everybody has to do their own thing, you know, to figure their own way. But, sorry, I just a little bit.
No, that's okay. That was absolutely fabulous. Yeah, absolutely. We're going a bit off topic now, but anyway, it's nearly time for us to finish.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's just been absolutely amazing, and things are definitely happening, and they're definitely becoming more, you know, especially around where we are, only because I've just got that experience. But those things that are happening over, you know, with us are just absolutely phenomenal. So I'm sure they're obviously happening in all sorts of different other places as well. I think where there's fewer human beings to sort of cloud it, I think that definitely Anyway, last few spoken words from Betsy and then from Drew, just to sort of draw to a close this UFO. So just a bit of a type of summary of whatever you'd like to speak about a UFO. So first Betsy, then Drew, and then we're going to close.
Well, here's the interesting thing is, after I had that experience in Port St. Lucie with the star or the UFO, it wasn't flying so much. It was just barely moving. And I just knew it was more. After that, I had some non-intentional channelings from people who had passed. And I was a prayer chaplain at our Unity Church, and I was doing a healing, hands-on healing, and I heard a maternal figure say, you know, send her our love, let her know she's more than what she thinks, da 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 da. And it floored me, because I'd never had that experience before. And when my daughter passed, I also was able to channel her. She spoke to me. You know, we were if the family was around her pray, because she was brain dead. We didn't know that at the time, but I knew it. And, you know, they're all praying for her recovery. And I hear her telling me in my head, don't make me come back to this body. I can do what I'm supposed to do from there. And since then I've heard her in my head. And it's interesting because they're not my thoughts. It's coming with her personality, her goofy personality. So that I found that it was almost like I got a gift at that moment. Or it opened a gift up for me. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was lovely anyway. At least, you know, it's really comforting to know that they are still out there and you can talk to them. So that's really cool. Yeah. Absolutely beautiful.
And are they, in what society defines as UFOs? Well, you know, UFOs and ETs, do they need to be flying? I don't know, you know.
No, I think it's just that obviously people have seen them flying, so they're quite interested. Okay, Drew, last word for you, from you.
Yeah, and with what Betsy said, I would just say to everybody, really, I mean, because there's going to be more and more people that are getting all this, and just trust it. You know, there's a 3D existence, physical, and that probably is the aliens and all that. There's other beings besides, I'm pretty sure, there's other beings besides humans in the physical. And then there's the 4D, the 5D. There's all these other dimensities that are not so physical. 4D can be a little bit, but after that, it's not really that much physical, even if it can physicalize. And it's subtle. Our 3D is a heavy emotion and brick and mortar and physical. And the other densities, they're very lighter. They're subtle. So even before a thought, or definitely way before an emotion, but even before a thought, it's just a vibration. And millions of vibrations make up a thought. So it's just, you'll just know, like your daughter, you knew. No one has to confirm that. Like, you know what it is. And there's a difference between receiving a thought and thinking a thought. And I want to make that real clear, because I'm now aware of when I'm thinking. Right now I'm thinking of what to say. I'm thinking a thought. But then there's just receiving. So that happens like that. There's no effort in the receiving. And then you'll know that that's the true thing. That's not some it's not BS. You know, it's real. And I just want people to know that. And I know that, Nikki, what you're doing, and we talked about this in the summer. I saw this in April. This group is going places big, and next year as well. And I saw that, and I mentioned that to Nikki this summer. So I'm not surprised at all this is happening. I kind of saw it, and I think you're going to get a lot more wild things to report. I think that's going to keep happening. So
yes, cool. Thank you, Drew. Yes, we are so lucky, so blessed where we are to have all these things happening. If any of you haven't seen my just the recent videos, even have a look at the live that I did this morning. So all around the 8th of December 2020. It's really, really incredible, the things that are actually happening, and we're actually seeing them even on video and stuff. So we're going to put a load more every Wednesday. We actually do, it's called Spiritual Experiences, and each week we have a different experience. So this time it was UFOs. Next time it'll be another spiritual experience, so fairies or something like that. So it's really exciting, and I'm so looking forward to speaking to more people about all of this stuff that we're doing. So go see our videos, and thank you so much, video. Thank you so much, Betsy, and thank you so much, Drew.
Thank you for your hard work, Nikki.
Thank you.
We really appreciated it. And
yeah, you and Monica just are kicking butt, and I love it. Thank you so much. And and it was nice to meet you, Betsy.
Nice to meet you too, Drew.
Absolutely. Beautiful soul. Well, you both beautiful souls. Okay, take care, everybody, and thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening, day, or morning, or whatever time it is with you. Take care. Bye.